Many of you that have been subscribed for a while know that I started my journey in over 33,000 in debt. And I've got over 10 million in debt. Let me tell you how it's changed my life. The big concept of this is we grow up thinking that debt is our enemy, and the truth is, at the beginning of my journey, I completely agree. I had 33 grand in debt, often spent on liabilities and the wrong things. Now my multi-million pound portfolio of debt is what pays for my lifestyle. And just so you've got an idea, if you're not a subscriber, I make between $500,000 and $1 million per month between my companies, and it's all off the back of this debt. But to truly understand how I got to this stage today, at the time of filming I'm 32, we need to go back around a decade, to the year 2014. So if you were with me around 10 years ago, I would have been 22 years old. I'd actually bought my first property, number 36 Burdett Street. This was £21,800. It was a 3-bed mid-terrace property in Burnley, Lancashire. And honestly, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I don't know about you, but I'd watched one too many episodes of Homes Under the Hammer. I thought, I can really give this a go. And I'd watch these people and go, if these people can do it, why can't I? And boy, was I wrong. I lived in London at the time, and this was about 240 miles away. And I thought, do you know what? This seems like a good idea. Why did I buy up there? Number one, I couldn't get a mortgage due to, well, my personal situation, shitty credit, etc. And of course, everything in between. Couldn't afford a house down south. It's even got even more ridiculous, but it was the only place in the UK I could afford. So I begged, borrowed and stole, I didn't steal, money just to get the property. And in fact, I actually bought the property and then couldn't afford the legal fees because for some reason I forgot it. And you think, you bloody idiot. Well, it gets better. I didn't think about the £10,000 refurbishment that was going to be needed, which back then could pay for an entire thing. So the refurbishment took me, are you ready? 9 months. It took me 9 months to do this basic refurb, and the reason for that is because I was at university. So I'd go up and down, I had this shitty old van, White Betty we called her, and a toolbox with a load of tools. Luckily, I was brought up fairly hands-on with things, so I knew how to do most of the things in a house. And I would drive up on a Friday after working cash in hand, drive up, buy the bits that I needed, sleep in the back of the van, had a sleeping bag, do work on the weekends and drive down. It got to the stage where I was going to do the kitchen and the plastering, and I didn't really know how to do either. I could plaster, but never been very good. It requires a lot of skill, well, I think it does. And of course, putting in the kitchen, which I'm just not there. So anyway, my next door neighbour, my main man Steve, we fucking hate Steve, but my main man Steve just happened to be a kitchen fitter and a plasterer. I know, right? Who knew what luck you could have being a youngster from down south? Steve said, Jamie, I'll do you a favour, mate. This probably gives you an idea. He wanted one price, I wanted another. He went, let's flip on it. And then we flipped on it and he said, why don't we just meet in the middle, right? That's how we did negotiation back then, which in hindsight probably should have told me anything. So I didn't look at his work. I didn't ask his credentials. I just thought, Steve, he had a beer with me, but he bought me a can of Foster's. What can you say, right? Anyway, I was doing my exams at this point. I'd let down. He said, look, give me a month. I'll get it done for you. Month went by and no text. Text him, hey, how's it going? Just kept up on another job, mate. Just getting started now. Give me 4 weeks. And I thought, do you know what? I've got my exams. I'll focus on my exams, figure it out after. 6 weeks goes by. So that's 10 weeks in total now, give or take. And I'm like, this is worrying me now. So I message. I call, nothing. So I drive up, open the door, and go in the house. And I don't know if you can relate to this, but if you were with me, you wouldn't just be visually seeing this thing, you could taste it. Like as soon as you open the door, it's like, the dust comes in, hits you, and you're like, oh no. So I go in there, the radiators that I hung, they were gone. My toolbox was nicked. My sleeping bag they left, so that was very nice of them. The wires ripped out of the wall. The walls were not plastered. What's going on, Steve? Kitchen is not there, and the floor's dug up. Like, what the fuck? Turns out there's lead in the floor, right? So anyway, I go next door and I'm banging. I see the netting move. You remember the old netting on the, like your nan's windows. Sorry if you're watching Nan. And you're watching that, and I see these, and these are like 2-bed back-to-backs, and I go like this. I go, and he's only put my kitchen in his fucking house. And what's worse, he's done a bloody good job as well. Now, I can laugh at it now, but imagine this is everything you worked for. Like, I'd inherited about 8 grand of this from my dad, or it was about 5 actually, from my dad. Passed away unfortunately. Saved all this up, and so it's funny now with the situation I'm in, but this ripped me apart. Fast forward probably we're now into 2014, and I've not done anything. My mindset was shocked. I started down myself, and I don't know if you can relate to that, where you've not done anything wrong, but somebody in your life did something, and now you doubt every decision that you make. And that was me. Anyway, fast forward to about October, I found my first deal that I could package on. And I'd never heard of deal packaging. Essentially, somebody was like, yeah, find a great deal. I'd gone down the pub talking about it, and somebody's dad went, look, I'll give you a bit of money for this. And I thought, bloody hell. So it was another property in Burnley. This one, £19,000. Thought, this is bloody brilliant. Of course, I didn't have the money to buy it. So this guy goes, do you know what? I'll give you a 3% fee. And I was like, hold on a second. You're going to give me £570. And all I've done is negotiate property. Like, I'm talking a couple of phone calls that I did for fun, just to keep my mind occupied. He goes, I'll give you £570. And I thought, this is bollocks. And then in December 2014, I completed on my first deal, and I got that £570. And I was like, I'm a genius. I'm a pioneer. I'm going to take over a whole industry. People are going to come in far and wide. So I'd drive home and I'd get online and I'd Google it. Turns out it's already a thing. Turns out hundreds of people do it. Turns out I'm not a pioneer at all. But that made me even more hungry to do it, because I realized other people had done what I've done, and they understood what it takes to be successful. And I've really jumped on something that I could actually enjoy. So I ended up getting educated. My first investment in myself was mindset education, because back then property education didn't really have much mindset into it. And I learned about something called deal packaging. Now, this isn't a video breaking down a year by year of what I did each year. However, do let me know in the comments if you think that would be valuable. I have thought for a while of doing some deep dive videos, but I'll await your feedback on that. The journey went on, and the reality is, people always ask, what did I do with that property? Find out at the end of this video. I ended up moving to the next stage, reinvested, and I'm not going to lie, people that knew me thought I was crazy. I'd gone from absolutely screwing up a property, really impacted me, like mentally, mental health-wise, it really impacted me, it made me doubt myself, and people saw this, and suddenly I was getting in even more debt to fund my education. Fast forward, I started learning more about deal packaging and thought, I can actually do this. And I realized most people in the industry do it wrong. They find a property and go, oh my God, I need to sell it. Go, 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 go. Terrible way of doing it. And I realized, instead of selling it as a product, why don't I sell a service attached to property? So I started doing that, built it up, and I hit my first 100K a year. I hit my first 200K a year, my first £500,000 a year, first £1 million year was back in 2020. And that was a real breakthrough, because that was COVID, £1 million a year. I thought, holy hell. Now, at the start, I was thinking, who could become a millionaire in that time, let alone do it in a year? Fast forward to now, we've got multiple businesses. I've got over a £10 million property portfolio. I've got an education business where, on top of this YouTube, I do paid for education to help people achieve their first 6-figure year, which is an amazing thing that we're really proud of. And obviously, we've got some developments going on, commercial conversions, some HMOs, some service accommodation, and the main business is our deal packaging business. And all of those all in make roughly between £500,000 and £1 million a month. And about, say, $350 to $550 a month of that is predominantly from deal packaging. So, debt, is it good or is it bad? The reality is, very much like tax, HMRC doesn't care what you put through as your tax. It's why it's tax deductible. And it's the same with debt. Debt is neither good or bad. It's about what you put it on. And so, here's my not financial advice, but tips around what I do with debt. I will only ever use debt for 3 reasons, and that is for physical assets, for marketing spend, or investment in myself. So investment in assets, i.e. boring vanilla buy-to-lets, investments in marketing, which is the lifeblood of any business, or an investment in my own education. So the reality is that yes, I've got my deal packaging business, but the fundamentals of what pays for my lifestyle is boring vanilla buy-to-lets. But it's the compounded effect that's actually made me a millionaire. And in the first 6 years, it made me a net worth millionaire. In the first 10 years, which is coming up to now, it's made me a net worth decamillionaire. And it's all thanks to boring vanilla buy-to-let properties. But if you're watching this and you're thinking, do you know what? I want to do things the right way. I don't want to make the mistakes like Jamie did, and you've got 50K or more to invest in your buy-to-let journey, comment APG in the comment below. That sounds for Aspire Property Group. APG in the comments below. We'll send you a link and you can have a free one-to-one consultation call to see if we at Aspire can build your portfolio. If you got value from this, hit the subscribe and the notification bell. If you're a subscriber already, tap that like button. And if you really want to know, I ended up selling Burdett Street, one of the biggest mistakes in my career. See you in the next video.